Most gardeners are feeding their soil the wrong kind of sugar, and it's quietly slowing down their plant growth. You'll hear advice all the time about adding sugar to soil to boost microbes, but here's the problem. Not all sugars behave the same way underground. Use the wrong one, and instead of feeding beneficial microbes, you can actually disrupt nutrient balance, slow decomposition, and end up with weaker plants. I've seen this happen in real beds. Lush growth for a few days, then sudden stagnation. That's not random, that's biology reacting to imbalance. And one thing that makes this worse is not knowing what's happening below the surface. You might think your soil is dry and add more liquid feed when it's already saturated and low on oxygen. That's exactly why I use a simple tool like the Yamron 4-in-1 soil moisture meter. It helps me avoid overwatering and keeps microbial conditions stable, especially when I'm adding inputs like molasses. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. But the real question is, why does molasses work differently from brown sugar? Here's what most people get wrong about feeding soil microbes. Microbes don't just need sugar, they need the right type of carbon source combined with trace nutrients. Plain sugar, like the kind in brown sugar, is mostly sucrose. It provides quick energy, but nothing else. No minerals, no micronutrients, no complexity. That means microbes burn through it fast, spike in activity, then crash just as quickly. Molasses is different. It's not just sugar. It contains trace minerals like iron, calcium, potassium, and magnesium, exactly what microbes need to sustain activity instead of burning out. And that difference changes everything in how your soil behaves over time. In one of my early tests, I added a diluted brown sugar solution to a raised bed with leafy greens. Within 48 hours, the soil showed increased microbial activity. You could even smell it. Slightly sweet, slightly active. But by day 4, plant growth slowed. Leaves looked slightly pale, and soil moisture dropped faster than expected. What happened? The microbes consumed the sugar quickly, multiplied rapidly, and then ran out of balanced nutrients. That caused a temporary imbalance in the soil ecosystem. The result wasn't long-term growth, it was a short spike followed by a drop. Now here's what changed when I switched to molasses. Same setup, same bed size, same watering schedule. But instead of brown sugar, I used unsulfured molasses diluted in water. The difference wasn't instant, but it was steady. Microbial activity increased more gradually. Soil stayed biologically active longer. Moisture retention improved. And, most importantly, plant growth didn't spike and crash. It stayed consistent. Leaves were darker, stems stronger, and overall growth was noticeably faster by the end of the second week. That's where the 50% faster claim starts making sense, not from a sudden boost, but from sustained biological support. How I actually apply this in real garden conditions, I don't overcomplicate it. For most backyard setups, I use about 1 tablespoon of molasses per litre of water. I apply it as a soil drench, not a foliar spray. In raised beds, I use it once every 7 to 10 days during active growth periods. In containers, I go lighter, about half that concentration, because nutrients accumulate faster in smaller volumes. And here's something most people overlook: timing matters. I apply it in the early morning or late evening, when microbial activity is naturally higher and evaporation is lower. Why this works better in living soil systems? If your soil is already dead, no organic matter, no microbial life, molasses alone won't fix it. You need a base of organic material. But if you already have some level of biological activity, molasses acts like a fuel source that enhances what's already there. It's not a fertilizer in the traditional sense, it's a biological activator. That distinction is important because it changes how you use it. This is where people still mess it up. They use too much. More sugar doesn't mean more growth. In fact, overuse can create microbial imbalances and even lead to fungal dominance that isn't always beneficial. I've tested higher concentrations and the results are clear. Beyond a certain point, plant growth actually declines. Stick to moderate, consistent applications. Let the system build gradually. What about hydroponic systems? This is where you need to be careful. In pure hydroponics, adding sugars like molasses can disrupt the nutrient solution and encourage unwanted microbial growth. But in hybrid systems like cocoa coir or organic hydro setups, you can use very diluted molasses to support beneficial microbes. I've used it in low concentrations in cocoa-based systems with good results, but only when the system already supports microbial life. If you're running sterile hydroponics, skip it. There's one hidden benefit most gardeners don't notice. Molasses improves soil structure over time. As microbial activity increases, organic matter breaks down more efficiently. That leads to better aggregation of soil particles, improved aeration, and more stable moisture levels. It's not just about feeding plants, it's about building a system that supports them long term. Let's clear up a common myth. Sugar doesn't feed plants. Plants don't absorb sugar from the soil in a meaningful way. What you're feeding is the microbial network that supports plant growth. Once you understand that, your approach changes. You stop looking for quick fixes and start building systems. If you're finding this useful, subscribe, because most of what improves your garden isn't visible. It's happening at the microbial level. At the end of the day, the difference between brown sugar and molasses isn't just about cost or availability. It's about how complete the input is. Molasses supports sustained microbial life. Brown sugar creates short-term spikes. And when you're trying to grow consistent, high-yield crops, stability always wins. That's what turns average gardens into productive systems. Subscribe for more real tested methods like this, and share this with someone who's still guessing with their soil inputs.